Hello, Tingle Minions. Today is just a little casual sort of energy session. If, of course, you're into that. And if not, it's a casual hand movement, soft-spoken session with the goal of helping you to relax, of course, or shed off some stress, or sleep, whatever you might be here for. So, we're just going to move through a few different things. I'll chat a little bit too. I don't get really a chance to do these as often as I would like. Sometimes it's nice to just sit in front of the camera, in front of you, and do whatever comes into my head or whatever I kind of feel guided to do. So that's what we're going to do today. Now I'm going to start just by lighting a stick of incense. I don't typically use stick incense. Really, if I use an incense, I prefer resin. But resin you have to put on like a piece of charcoal, and it can produce quite a bit of smoke, which wouldn't be a big deal, except there's a smoke detector just outside. And I'm also cooking at the moment, so I can't take my smoke detector down in case there ends up being a raging fire in my kitchen and I end up being blissfully unaware of it. So we're going to use some stick incense with this little ceramic incense burner with a bird on it. I don't remember where this came from. I've had it for so long, but it's kind of cute. You know, usually incense burners have little symbols, whether it's chakras or esoteric sort of symbols, or this is just a bird. So I'll just light this stick of incense sort of with the intention of helping to clear anything out that we need to clear out of the room, out of our energy fields, out of your mind. And this is dragon's blood incense, which is one of my favorite scents and substances. So I know some people really like the sounds of matches. So we'll just light that. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of that smoke. There is quite a bit of smoke off of this stuff. Kind of see it wafting around already. So you'll just see my hands come in front of your face. I'm just gonna feel your energy field down across the torso and up and over in front of your eyes there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Of course, up here in Canada, in the Great White North, we just had this week what was probably the most tense election certainly in my lifetime. There's a lot of division between people and groups of people, and not to bring more sadness into our minds, but I know for me it really makes me aware of my choices, and how what you say or the actions that you take can impact the lives of someone else and their family. It's just crazy to think about, really. It's easy to get caught up in, the fast pace around us, but if we're able to slow down a little bit, take some time to cleanse our thoughts and really build some virtue in the actions that we take. That's what I try to do. You never know whose day you might make better, or I certainly don't always succeed. I'm nowhere near perfect, but I do try. So I'm just going to grab a little wooden comb here that I have. We'll just sort of comb through your energy field, and we'll look for anything that maybe we should look at removing. I think I've used this comb before, possibly for like a shave, I think, and maybe for another aura video. I really do like using the comb. You can use your fingers as well, but I find that the wooden comb has a sort of unique effect if it snags on anything. So we just comb down. We look for anything that might be catching, that might be some little strand of energy, or an area that might be knotted up or blocked. This kind of helps unsnag everything, just like brushing your hair. So of course, I've done videos in the past, many guided meditations, a few videos for empaths as well, and I'm glad that they've been received as well as they have. It's just because that attention is really needed right now, where the world is so divided. Being able to share those things, meditations and ASMR videos certainly as well. It's just a nice way to be able to give. But I do find there's this strange side to accepting that one is a little bit more sensitive in the case of an empath, or certainly with the growing acceptance of mental illnesses, or just acceptance of lots of different differences. We kind of tend to fall prey to the things that we used to describe ourselves. So, and I'm guilty of it too. For example, I'll just pull some of these strands out while I'm chatting. Empaths, for example, tend to be what we call ourselves sort of sensitive to the energies and the emotions around us, that we're very receptive. So we end up using it as kind of an excuse, almost, to not do the things that we know make us a little bit more susceptible. So for example, I think the most common thing you'll hear is like the grocery store. You know, like I don't want to go to the grocery store because there's so much tension in the air, and we just kind of use being sensitive as an excuse to not do those things. And I've always felt like that really makes us focus on our weaknesses instead of calling that a strength and really using it that way, you know? It's going to be different for everyone, but and that's coming from someone who, you know, I'm guilty of it as well. So sometimes it's just a matter of being proactive. And I also say that as someone who has experienced mental illness in a very serious way several times. And of course, ASMR and guided meditations and all this stuff should never be a sort of substitute for seeking professional help and assistance, of course. But it really is about sometimes accepting that, you know, we've been leaning on our weaknesses as a crutch. And essentially calling ourselves out on it, right? I know I'm just rambling on, but hopefully that'll make sense to those of you who need to hear it. I certainly have to call myself out on it sometimes. I'll just keep combing through as well. Now, typically we would, of course, go through some very gentle breaths. It's usually how we would start with a meditation. Or if you were trying to sort of relax, then we would gently breathe. I want you to try something if you're open to it. I want you to take a big breath of air into your lungs. It's okay if it's loud, that's fine. And hold it at the top. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale for as fast as you can. And try that one more time. So take a normal breath, just in and out gently. And now breathing in, big, big, big breath of air into the lungs. Sip just a little more at the top and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Out. Nice. Sometimes a nice, big, strong exhale can help us to release extra stuff. Of course. And just dissipate some of that and smooth down and over. Lots of personal face attention for those of you who enjoy that. That's for sure. We'll flick a few more of these strands away. Hopefully you're feeling a little more relaxed, balanced maybe, hopefully. Now, both hands down, let's just sort of, it's almost like, not like molding bread dough. That was kind of the first thing that popped into my head, but it's more like smoothing out icing, you know? When you plop a big dollop of icing down on a cake, and then sort of pass by pass, you smooth it out. And eventually it's all one even layer, and that's sort of what this is all about. Ideally, we're going to spread the energy out and around the auric field throughout each layer and just kind of even everything out. We'll have to do some chakra work eventually if you're open to that. I sometimes hesitate doing these things because I don't know how much of my audience is sort of open to these new things or things that we wouldn't see day to day, you know, energy work or talking about negative energy strands and things that I've certainly had very good luck with, but I know some people aren't open to that or have had negative experiences or all that. So, but I'd love to start maybe doing some chakra work or maybe a more full-on, more progressive sort of energy session, or maybe I could pull out the whole singing bowl, get some sound healing going, maybe. We'll see if you're open to that. Now, let's just do a little bit of fluffing up here. We'll go down the torso here, top of your head and behind, around your ears. Let's check in with some different areas of your face that might be holding some tension. So think about right between your eyebrows and separating the eyebrows, letting them fall away from each other in the middle. We'll think about just gently allowing the eyes to open or close if your eyes are closed, so that we're not squeezing them shut or sort of holding them open, just allowing them to be as open or closed as they'd like to be, just dissipating any extra tension that might be there. And Let's check in and make sure that you aren't sticking your tongue against the roof of your mouth. It's quite common as well. I certainly find myself doing that. So just allowing the tongue to relax away from the roof of the mouth. And then very close to that is, of course, checking in to see if we are clenching the jaw. And that isn't just a cheek and jaw thing. That can also sort of relate to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is the stringy muscle right here that goes from sort of right at the base of the earlobe down to the clavicle and the sternum. Don't want to get too in depth on that, but there's one on each side, of course, and that can also contribute to tension. So if you're gritting your teeth, you may feel some tension in that area. You can actually pinch it, see how it feels. Just allowing the jaw to relax. And then lastly, it's not really part of your face, but maybe we can drop the shoulders down just a little bit further and then drawing the shoulder blades back. So if you're laying down, then you might find yourself just a little bit more comfortable and able to relax a little further. If you're sitting, then make sure you pull your abdominals in as well, in conjunction with drawing the shoulder blades back. So you've got kind of this tension in the back and then tension in the front, and it balances out, and you'll be sitting up a little bit straighter. So, all part of the fun. Wow, there we go. So hopefully that helped you to relax a little bit, calm down after your day, got you thinking about other stuff. And remember, just to kind of go back to what I mentioned earlier, that no matter what you would use to describe yourself as, you have strengths. So if you find yourself using your weaknesses to identify yourself, or what you might consider to be weaknesses, remember that you have strengths. And sometimes the very things that make us feel weak or insecure, the things that we call weaknesses, sometimes there are superpowers. And we just haven't found our cape and our special flying boots yet. So if you're heading back out into a busy day, then let's just take a moment to take a deep breath together to sort of close ourselves off. So we'll inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go out. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold at the bottom. 3, 2, and 1. And now back to your regular breathing pattern. Hopefully your day will be as stress-free as it can possibly be. And if you're heading off to bed, you're all cuddled in, then let's take a moment to do one more of our breathing exercises that we did earlier. Big, big inhale in, as big as you can make it. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale as fast and as forcefully as you can. And then we're back to a regular breathing pattern. One last time to dissipate out any of that tension. You're all smoothed over. Hopefully all ready for sleep or refreshed. Well, thank you very much for spending a few minutes of your time with me. And of course, I'll see you next time. Sweet dreams.